just last Friday, the Trump administration released the fourth national climate assessment for the U.S. climate research program, reiterating that human activity is the dominant cause of global temperature rise. Now, I say that in that COP23 is convening this week in Bonn, Germany, the 23rd opportunity for the international community to come together on climate issues. And I particularly was concerned about an article you wrote that contains much of what Senator Carper was referring to. The article was "Signing the Paris Agreement is the worst way to celebrate Earth Day." Now, when the climate agreement was signed, there were two countries that did not participate. The rest of the global community did. Those two countries have since now joined the Paris Agreement. So it was the entire global community that came together, and now there's one country that is backing off of it, the United States. So I have a responsibility as the ranking Democrat on the Senate Foreign Relations Committee, which has primary responsibility over the international global discussions on climate. So I questioned nominee Rex Tillerson as to his views on this. And he was very open and said, yes, the United States should be sitting at the table during climate discussions with the international community. And yes, climate change is real. There may be different ways of dealing with it, but it's real, and we have to deal with it. It seems to me that you don't believe climate change is real.
I am uncertain.
You're uncertain.
No, I'm not. I'm sorry. I jumped ahead of my time. Climate change is of course real.
Human activity affect climate change?
More than likely, but the extent to which I think is very uncertain. And
would you rely on scientists to give you that answer or not?
No, I've had that question for a very, very long time.
So you have a distinguished background in academics, in humanities and religion,
yes,
which is fine. It's a wonderful field. You're not a scientist, are you?
No, I'm not a scientist, but in my personal capacity, I have many questions that remain unanswered by current climate policy. I think we indeed need to have more precise explanation of the human role and the natural role.
And where do you get that information from?
A wide range of information. The IPCC is a very good source.
What's that?
The United Nations Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, that has been the vehicle for ongoing assessment of climate.
What role does scientists play in this?
Many of them are the authors. There's thousands of them involved in the whole project, but they are of course they're scientists.
Would you support the EPA allowing its scientists to fully participate in all discussions?
I don't see why not. I think science should overwhelmingly guide assessments and all of that, but I don't think they dictate policy results.
Do you stand by your statement that carbon dioxide, greenhouse gases, are not dangerous at all to our environment?
As I would characterize it differently, but I would say that, as I did earlier, it's likely that CO2 emissions from human activity have some influence on the climate, but again, not to the extent. But it does. CO2 in the atmosphere has none of the characteristics of a pollutant that contaminates and fouls and all of that has direct can have direct impact on human health. As an atmospheric gas, it's a plant nutrient.
So one last question, Mr. Chairman, and that is, you disagreed with the Supreme Court decision that said that the EPA had a responsibility because of the impact of greenhouse gases on public health. Are you now changing that, or do you still?
No, and that was styled as the Massachusetts decisions in 2006. That's the Supreme Court's ruling. That's the law of the land. But
you think it was based on the wrong scientific information?
No, I thought it was based on an overly expansive reading of the definition of an air pollutant in the Clean Air Act.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.